Jamaica. There you have it. It's the grand finale of the 2018 Flow Caribbean Club Football Championships. This is the game that the crowd here has been waiting for. It's Arnett Gardens against Club Atlético Pantoja. Of course, there are two teams representing countries of vastly different sizes. We'll get into that. But let's look at this, the third place playoff, and this is between Central and Portmore United. This is Dwayne Muscat. A brilliant goal on minute number 27 to give the Trinidad and Tobago-based Central the lead. Stern John nodding in approval, in fact applauding in approval, and Portmore United came rushing back close to maybe 7 or 8 minutes on the resumption, and the Javanese wheeling away in celebration. That goal though came off one of the Central players. But look at this one, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Full-blooded shot there from Jeremy Lynch, and of course Portmore United held on to that 2-1 lead to the very end and claiming third place. You're looking there at Mr. Burrows, and of course Mr. Horace Reed, and of course another Portmore executive. But we continue to look at the semi-finals and how the two teams got here tonight. Let's start with Atlético Pantoja. They played against Portmore United, and they took the lead from their number 7, Espinal. He's starting tonight. Well done. And giving them the lead early in the piece. So it was 1-0 in favor of the club from the Dominican Republic. But Portmore came rushing back, and Jeremy Lynch looking up and spotting Javanese and calmly putting it into the back of the net and getting by goalkeeper Odalis Baez, and it was 1-1. But the Atletico Club team was to take the lead for a second time, and that one came in there from Centeno, the big number 32 in defense, and giving them the lead for a second time. But Portmore United came storming back yet again, and this was a fortuitous goal from Javanese, the goalkeeper coming and miscuing the ball, and the Javanese took advantage and got his second on the night. So it was 2-2. But then Club Atletico got a third time they took the lead. Espinal appearing on the back step of Portmore United, and he was celebrating 3-2. Portmore came back rushing, and Jeremy Lynch got the faintest of touches on that one, and it was 3-3. But guess what? Club Atlético Pantoja, they came back for the fourth time, and close to the end of the game, the powerful Centeno header, giving them a 4-3 lead that they held on to the very end and booking their spot in the final. Arnett Gardens were up late that night. They served up the nightcap, and they came up against Central FC out of Trinidad and Tobago. There it is, semi-final 2. An evenly matched contest early in the piece until Arnett Gardens asserted their dominance over their Trinidad and Tobago counterpart. And look at this sumptuous goal here, and it came from the boots of Tamar Edwards. Wonderfully taken, hitting on the right post and beating Marvin Phillip. You can't see this enough. Wonderful goal there from the outstanding defender, and the bench, led by, of course, their coach Jerome Wade, was in total ecstasy. And this was the one that put the game to bed. Marvin Morgan calmly slotting to the right of Marvin Phillip, and it was good night for the Trinis. It was an outstanding game from one Visional Harris, who is starting tonight as well, and he teed up for Marvin Morgan. All he had to do was to pick his spot. He did so even before he got the ball and expertly put it away. Half Pint, the international recording artist, is back tonight. He was here on Friday night. Tonight he's showing his colors. Arnett Gardens himself, absolutely clear. All right, so we're building up for the final. The fans are out, and Orville Higgins is still here with me. Orville, Atlético Pantoja, just looking at their starting lineup, only 6 Dominican Republic native are in their lineup. They have players from Haiti, they have players from Venezuela, they have players from Uruguay, they have players from Colombia. It's almost a united nation of players in this one team. They look slick, and you could tell that the players in the setup on Friday night were players who are used to playing on stages like these, and you expect them to put on a show tonight against an Arnett Gardens team that's very difficult to beat here.
Well, that game that the Atlético Pantoja team played against Portmore, it demonstrated two things: that they remind me of Liverpool in the English Premier League, always likely to get on the scoring sheet, but also can be a little bit shaky at the back. So we expect them to create excitement on either side of the football field. Arnett Gardens, we know, are also a very attacking unit. They know only one way to play, and that's to attack. And it sets itself up for what should be an all-out good final. And I'm not figuring that we'll get 7 goals, but this is a game that should see plenty of goal-mouth action.
So the officials are leading the charge. Club Atlético Pantoja left of screen in their white with gold and blue trimmings across the chest. And of course, they are sporting gold stockings tonight at Arnett Gardens, as ever, in their intimidating black and red outfit. Making their way onto the center of the park for the pre-game formalities. And it's a simple matter of the visiting club going across to meet the host. And the club that goes across is a team that's the visitors tonight. So it could very well be Arnett Gardens. But let's see. So they're lined up across the main stand away from our commentary point. And Arnett Gardens are the away team tonight on their home ground. They've gone across to greet the club, the Atlético Club Pantoja players, and wishing them well, you think? No, don't think so. We have a really big final on our hands tonight. And I'd just like to tell you that three of the officials tonight are heading to the World Cup. This group worked the first game on Friday night minus Corey Rockwell. In fact, the man who whistled tonight did not work on Friday, Joel Aguilar. So he's not going to the World Cup, but the others are going to the World Cup. And one of them, Guillermo Rufo, he was in charge of the first game. Corey Rockwell is going to his fourth World Cup. Let's look at the starting lineup. The Pantoja team, they've made 2 changes to the team that played on Friday night. So let's quickly tell you who those players are. Pedro Munoz in the number 3. He comes in tonight and he replaces Jesus Quintero, the outstanding number 8. And Roberto Rosado, he is in tonight and he comes in for the Jonathan Fania. So that's the lineup for the Club Atlético Pantoja. And of course on the bench, you can see they have quality as well. 1 or 2 of those players we saw, Quintero in particular, Jesus Quintero, we're looking forward to seeing him as well. All right, so the captains have been brought together. So it is Damian Hyatt and Nicolas Ribeiro. And in a short time, we'll show you the Arnett Gardens lineup. In fact, they've gone with the same 11 that won their game on Friday night. So that's the official part of the year. Joel Aguilar was the one who did not work on Friday, but the other 3 are going to Russia for the World Cup. And that's the man in charge of the game tonight. He hails from El Salvador, and Juan Zumbra is his countryman, also from El Salvador. Corey Rockwell from the U.S., and Guillermo Rufo, the 4th official, is from the USA. So we're all set and ready to go. The stage has been set. But let's have a look at the Arnett team. As I say, this is a team that started the semi-final, and Jerome Wade, the coach, has decided to go with the same 11 that beat the Central FC team out of Trinidad and Tobago.
The coach did say after the first game win that a set of his players were suffering from cramps. Marvin Morgan did walk off, and it was of some concern to the Arnett Gardens spectators and indeed the coaching staff. Good to see that he started, and there's these substitutions, people that they can always take off the bench. Kemal Malcolm, we know how big and strong and nippy he is, and I've always had a soft spot for Newton Stirling. Good header of the ball and can be lethal when coming on late. There is the traditional huddle by both teams, and the action should get underway in pretty short order.
So, the final words together as they get ready to battle for $50,000 US, but more importantly, they'll tell you a spot amongst the region's elite, those from Mexico and the US Major League, plus the title of Caribbean Club Champions. Vishnal and Fabian have gotten us underway. Look for a nice football match tonight. It sets up nicely between 2 teams who are married to their philosophy, and their philosophy is attack, attack. They live and die by attack. Here's Arnett Gardens. Ball kicked up into the night sky. Very cool atmosphere prevailing here at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. It's been a pretty decent day here in Jamaica, weather-wise, and it has continued into the evening. It's Marvin Morgan on our close-up camera there. He's expected to play a huge role tonight for Arnett Gardens. He has been doing so since the start of the season. Jerome Wade just standing and taking an early look at this Pantoja team. I'm sure he has seen them before. They played out a goalless draw in Trinidad and Tobago a few months ago. So both games today brought about rematches coming out of the semi-final groupings. Let's have a look at this as Renike Anderson with his hand around the neck of Matea, Amarando Matea.
I don't know why Renike Anderson was complaining to the referee about that call. He was really just holding on to his man. Good call that from the referee.
Damian Hyatt. Little chatterbox in the area there. Just trying to organize his domain. Fabian Reed, he was a withdrawn player in the semi-final. Now he's leading the line, and there's where you want to see him. He's probably the best striker in the country, and he's leading the line. Here he is, right on cue. He gets away in the air. He's a very dangerous player, and look what he's done. Baez had to be on his game, and it makes you wonder why Fabian Reed was employed right behind the strikers on Friday night as opposed to leading the line. This is what this boy is capable of.
It started off from that brilliant pass by Visional Harris, who weighted his pass brilliantly to Fabian Reed. He kicks well with both feet. And if that's a sign of things to come, we should be very well entertained. Visional Harris has started well. Fabian Reed has started well. And after 2 minutes, we have already seen some good action from both teams.
Hold down. Anderson bangs the ball forward with one man in mind, Fabian Reed. This is him, innocent. He's from Haiti. Silva, Leonardo from Uruguay. Here he is. So the teams representing countries with vastly different populations. 3 million looking forward to Arnett Gardens to win tonight, while over in Santo Domingo, the capital of the Dominican Republic, and right across the country, 10.65 million people, I'm sure, are rooting for this Atlético Club Pantoja team. As they go forward over on the far side, they do cross the ball very, very well. You couldn't tell from that. There's a coach, Lenin Bayo.
Yeah, that was really just overhit by the number 20, Jonathan Favia. He never had the kind of control on that he would have liked.
And of course, Jonathan Fania is one of the 6 Dominican Republic native in the starting lineup. Juan Carlos Lopez, also from Dominica. Here's Centennial. He got a double on Friday night. They do pass the ball around very, very quickly, and their transition from defense to attack early in the piece caused a lot of problems for Portmore United, and I'm sure they're hoping to do something similar tonight to Arnett Gardens. Here's Nesbeth with a throw. Reed. Power clearance by Captain Biero.
I think in the early exchanges here, we are seeing what both teams are likely to do. This Atlético Pantoja team are going to be bouncing it around, while this Arnett team are tending to be a little bit more direct. Get it up to Fabian Reed, get it up to Marvin Morgan, and see what happens. Not enough by play in the middle of the park, certainly not yet, while this Atlético Pantoja team is showing a little greater inclination at just passing around before they make a direct attack at goal.
So Jerome Waite has clearly done his homework on this Atlético Club Pantoja team. Unlike Portmore United, he has put a man-marking job on Espinal. And Jabor Johnson has the job, a la Lota Mataros on Diego Armando Maradona in the 1986 World Cup final. They're on the far side. The throw is won here by the Pantoja team. 5 minutes gone in the game. This game is just building up. You can sense it's going to be a good one. Juan Carlos Lopez had the ball taken away from him on the talismanic Visional Harris. The inspiration behind the Arnett Gardens team when he's right on top of his game and unsung. And what we saw from him on Friday night is not only encouraging to Arnett, but of course to the national setup as well. There he is.
He looks to be in business here. It was that telling pass that he made to Fabian Reed, which could have almost set up that first goal. But in the early exchanges, he seems to be well involved, which is a good sign if you're an Arnett Gardens supporter, because Visional Harris is the best playmaker, maybe in Jamaica when he's unsung. And he's looked to be business-like early in the early exchanges.
Fabian Reed. If there's one football player on the field that this Pantoja team has got to be mindful of, if I was to pick one player, it's got to be Fabian Reed. He's so good. Morgan skips away from Espinal, who has come back deep to help out in defense. Loads of space afforded to Morgan. He loves this. Whistle on the play, right in front of referee Aguilar. Hitting the deck on that occasion was Armando Maitea. He's a Venezuelan national. Have a look at it again. Ricky Anderson not allowing Maitea to get control of the football. These little Atlético Pantoja players, and it's not dismissive when I say little, but they are really skillful players. They've handled the ball very well and they're very comfortable on it. And I suppose Arnett is employing the tactic, do not allow them to settle.
You don't want to allow them to turn. They're passing it well in midfield, and they have that outlet pass to Fania on the right. He's already made some charging runs down that right hand side, and that is clear that they'll be building up the attacks on the left side of the Arnett Gardens defense, which is where they are now. Maybe they feel that Fania's pace could come in handy.
18-year-old club. Arnett Gardens, as Arnett Gardens came into being in the 1970s. This Pantoja team came to be in the year 2000, so they're exactly 18 years old. And they're currently lying fourth in their league. They call it Liga Dominica.
Maybe one of the reasons that they have employed Fania to go down that left-hand side of the Arnett Gardens defense is that Russell, who is the Arnett Gardens left back playing in number 3, does have the tendency to stray from home and go deep. And his shot, one remembers in the first game, was one of the highlights. But here's Arnett on the move.
Fabian Reed, he has the outlet in Morgan. Will he go for the shot? No. Decides against it. Oldham.
Well, he wanted Marvin Morgan to make that run. Marvin Morgan didn't read it. I think Oldham was saying, why didn't you having made the pass, you started making a move to find space, which is one of the problems I did say, Wayne, about some of the aspects of Jamaican football. Marvin Morgan, having made the pass, then became stationary. You have to be a moving target.
So Espinal been heavily policed here and detained by both Johnson and Oldham. In the end, Arnett emerges with the free kick. Espinal a bit overly aggressive in trying to get that possession. A shot on target. Hyatt had to be alert, and he was, but that came onto him very, very quickly. And Juan Carlos Lopez with a right-footed effort, getting the attention of the Arnett Gardens goalkeeper. Suddenly, the ball is at the other end of the field, end-to-end action, and Fabian Reed leading the charge. Now Harris with a grounder, and Baez had to be like his opposite number, Hyatt, alert, and he was.
Did say that Vishal Harris seems to be in business. May have just injured himself in the process here, but he started quite briskly and has kicked a shot, forcing a save from the goalkeeper. Similar thing at the other end, where a shot was barreled. Here's Vishal Harris. Had a good shot at goal, good effort, good diving save by the keeper, but seems to have just done himself some damage. Hastily cleared, scrambled away. We've seen just under 10 minutes, but we have already seen both goalkeepers being tested here.
So, Arnett Gardens, having called upon to defend, within seconds were on the attack and had a replica of that shot from Juan Carlos Lopez from Vishal Harris. And both goalkeepers were forced to dive, coincidentally, to their right.
And what I like about those two shots, the players didn't hit over the bar. They were aiming on target. I think sometimes one of the mistakes forwards can make is to go for power as opposed to placement. If you place it well enough, it's almost always better to do that than to go for brute force. And it was two good saves.
A long kick from midfield. Clearly that was a pass gone bad. Couldn't be a shot. And Baez had to leave his cage, get the ball into touch. Reed has 3 players on him.
Oh, poor pass.
Decision making in the end was off. Now Espinal comes very deep. He's very fast. He's also strong. Very hard to take the ball off. And Atlético Pantoja is trying to capitalize on that bit of a quality. You have a player who is so very hard to get the ball off and speedy.
And again, Wayne, exclusively going down the right-hand side with Armando Maita being exploited, as well as he's the number 17 player, as well as the number 20 Fania. They have launched a series of attack down the left-hand side of the Arnett Gardens team, maybe because Russell is the left back, tends to come forward a lot. They have not done too much down the other side of the field. Maybe that's just the tactic at this point in time.
So we've played 11 minutes in this final. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Wherever you are watching us on Flow Sports 1, you're watching the Flow Caribbean Club Football Championship, and it's the final. It's Club Atlético Pantoja out of the Dominican Republic in white, playing against the Jamaican representative, who happens to be playing on their home ground here at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex in Kingston, Jamaica. And it's 8:17 local time, and Lenin Behel, the coach, to keep piercing his technical area, can for one moment sit down. Has to be directing traffic from where he was, and Arnett player is down injured. Zedka Renike Anderson has been attended. Well, the referees comfortable that he needs people to come and have a look at him, and that's what they've done. So we're at the 13th minute, and the game is building. And because we know you join us all the time, we'd just like to welcome you wherever you are watching Flow Sports 1 up and down the Caribbean. I know as a fact there's a fan watching right now in Maine, the USA, and fans spread out across the different, well, the two stands here. As we look at this movement here, this is a long-range effort here from Juan Carlos Lopez that got the attention of Damien Hyatt, the national goalkeeper, and then within seconds, this was what happened at the other end from Vishal Harris, and they were both right-footed effort, both kicked to the right of the goalkeepers, both goalkeepers having to stretch to their right to effect a save. So it was as if Arnett was saying, whatever you can do, we can at the very least match it, and they just did. Here's Marvin Morgan. Doesn't look like one of those big, strong players, but he's very hard to get off the football as well. Just really getting into, I mean, maybe, I want to say maybe he's lost maybe 3 or 4 of his best years. Left high school here in Jamaica, played for a school named St. George's College, won the Manning Cup, left school as probably the biggest star, and just didn't happen for him immediately. And it tends to happen if you don't get into the mix immediately. It's going to be hard for you, because footballers come a dime a dozen almost every day at all different ages. But he's confident that he's got his career back on track. He's 26, 27 years old now, and maybe he can salvage something. And platforms like these can only help. So we're approaching the quarter-hour mark, and it's a free kick to be taken by the captain, Babiero. Hyatt has left his goal. Reed. Morgan. Two national players linking up. Reed is still standing, waiting on the delivery. Marvin Morgan, outstretched arms as if to say, why are you still here? Harris. Counting down is Edwards. Morgan. Swirling ball that fell nicely for Baez.
One of the things about that play, Wayne, is that the Arnett Gardens players just didn't break away out of the fence quickly enough. Marvin Morgan made the move, but really never had options to his right. There was one option to his left, but the Arnett Gardens players were just not breaking out of the fence quickly enough on that particular play.
Ball is in the middle of the park with Innocent from Haiti.
I like Innocent. He looks to be fairly innocuous on the field, but he makes very little mistakes. Not flashy, not spectacular, but always seems to have the right pass. A calm, reassuring presence in the middle of the park for this Atlético Pantoja team. I like him as a central defensive midfielder. Has a calm, cool head on his body.
Jonathan Fania thought about a shot. They're making nice progress here. Pantoja. Carlos Rosell. Ball going astray and falling nicely for Nesbeth from Arnett Gardens. We're waxing lyrical about the striking resemblance of Nesbeth to O'Neill Thompson, who is now a former Arnett player.
And again, Marvin Morgan had the ball in an advanced position, but he didn't have too many options. There was nobody coming up to his right. The midfielders are not coming up to create that extra option for the players when they get the ball forward. There's a too big a detachment between the midfielders and the attacking players, and that's That has to be a concern for Arnett Gardens at the moment. There's Marvin Morgan. Nobody coming up on his side. Nobody in the frame. Even if he got the ball to pass it too. The midfielders are slow to break and are not breaking fast enough when they choose to do so.
So the game is moving at a brisk pace. And 16, approaching 17 minutes have flown by very, very quickly.
Marvin Morgan has done his fair share of the work. Certainly been very busy down this right-hand side of the Arnett Gardens attack. He wants some support though. Marvin Morgan likes to give and go. He is the kind of player who likes to bounce it off a teammate and then dart. He can take on people, but too many times he's got the ball and there are not enough people up front to support him.
Tracking back is Pedro Munoz. Didn't have a start. In fact, he wasn't on the team sheet on Friday. Suddenly he finds himself playing in a final. How about that? One training session did it. A bit of coming together of the players in the middle of the park. And the two players involved, Ronike Anderson and Maitea. Very good turn, skillfully done. Lennox Russell brought down. The referee says nothing is wrong with that.
I'd like to see that again.
This is Espinal. To say it's very hard to take off the football. Good vision. Lopez with a cross. In fact, it's Silva actually. Leonardo Silva was operating here on the left.
And the same
under pressure, so the cross didn't get to the intended target.
The same thing I was saying about Marvin Morgan when Leonardo Silva brought down the left-hand side, and he was ahead of his midfielders by far. The midfielders have got to be a bit closer to the forwards when they break, just to keep that press going. And are both teams guilty of the midfielders just not providing that link fast enough, early enough to give the players ahead of the ball options on either side.
Whistle on the play over to the far side. This game, believe it or not, has flown by is flying by very, very quickly. One reason, both teams going at each other. This is a final. There's no coming back. Whatever you do here, you've got to leave it on the line. And it's a play to the finish. Well, it's a final. Fabian accused of being in the offside position. There he is. Player with big dreams and big ambitions. Started out the Red Stripe Premier League season. Here he is.
I think
actually, he pushed the player. He pushed Centennial.
It could be a handball as well, because the referee could have ruled that he just brought it down with the hand.
So many things happening in one, because he pushed Centennial and affected his ability to get the ball, and of course he handled it as well. And there could also be a case for offside as well. Here's Harris. Back to goal. He's getting away from his marker, Innocent. Russell. Good cross. Reed. Gone down injured. Here's Espinal. We're going to have a hell of a time tonight getting the ball away from him. Jabbar Johnson believes that the referee, Aguilar, wasn't fair to him. But the referee says, listen, accept what I say and don't be too talkative. I have the ability to give you the card. Let's have a look at it again. It's bicep to bicep, but he clipped him. Both of them came together, bicep to bicep, and as he was falling over, Johnson helped him down by clipping his left foot. I think it was the right call by the referee. Here's a chance. Jonathan Fania with that latest opportunity, and Coach Bayo is not happy. Well, he's encouraging his players. I thought he wasn't happy with the effort, but he's encouraging him.
Fania finding himself a little bit closer to the opponent's goal. He's usually operating on the right side of the fence and coming down that right-hand side. Got a chance for a volley. Just didn't have the technique to keep it on target.
And we'll confirm whether this is a game that is going to involve extra time. The third place playoff we could understand. So it's the same for this one. They go straight to penalties, no extra time. Marvin Morgan. Hold down. Good move here by Innocent.
And maybe commentators shouldn't be talking up players, because as I was saying, the sure-footedness of Innocent is something that I commented on, and what, 90 seconds after that he just kicked the ball away.
Harris. Reed was running into position, but that was very well read by Mattia.
Yeah, the referee didn't like the challenge there from Nesbitt, felt that he came in a little late and possibly a little high as well. And the throw going to the other team. Nesbitt didn't complain.
Of course, Nesbitt, there are two Nesbitts here in these parts. The recording artist Nesbitt, he hails from just about maybe 2 or 3 minutes from the stadium, and a product of this community. In Arnett Gardens, he's now doing very well as a recording artist. And there's Nesbitt, the football player. There he is in your frame.
I like his presence on the field. He does have that presence. Big, bustling character, not dissimilar to the man Bigger Thompson.
The referee is pointing to, well, he's first of all going to have to take care of what's happening to Russell. Is he telling Russell that he's falling over too easily? And I'm not sure what he's having a chat with him about. In fact, does Russell even understand it?
Look at the look of bemusement on Russell's face. Either he didn't comprehend anything that the referee was saying, or he was listening on with total disbelief.
I would wager on the former. Let's see what happened here. He thought he went down too easily. That's the only reason he could have gone to him, because he didn't commit an infringement or anything. Maybe he was telling him that, listen, don't do that. You went down too easily.
Strange.
There's no other reason for him to have a chat with him. He did absolutely nothing else.
Well, Russell was saying, what on earth is he trying to say?
That is why most clubs in England, with a foreign player who speak a different language of English, I know of Manchester City for sure, all the players after training who don't understand English very well, it's a requirement that they do English classes and exams, and Pep himself judged them. Football is a universal language, but you also need to speak different languages. It helps. Sure, Lennox Russell could easily tell you what the referee was saying had he done the same.
Not sure what the referee is saying here, Wayne. He's asking that the kick be taken again, but there was something going on behind him in the box.
The ball.
And the referee had a talk with 1 or 2 players. Now he's looking at them, having a word.
Maybe
God alone knows what he's saying.
Maybe there's some pushing going on. If you notice, his back is to go into the ball, and he's more interested in what's happening there. And he asks, there you go. He asked the kicker to come over my shoulder because I'm looking. Something is happening in there. There was some pushing going on, and that's what he called it back for. And he wanted to make sure there's not a repeat of it. So he turned his back to the ball and beckoned to the player to kick it over my shoulder, because I want to make sure I know what's happening.
Interesting. That's good refereeing, actually. Don't see that too often.
Through to Arnett over on the far side. We've passed the halfway mark in the first half. And the battle for $50,000 continues. Here is a chance, a breakaway for Club Atlético Pantoja. Here they are. And the ball just taken off the number 14, Juan Carlos Lopez. And a corner through the Atlético Pantoja team. This is the first corner of the game.
Javier Johnson finding himself backpedaling, and whenever you're a defender and you're finding yourself having to backpedal, then you know you're in trouble, but he got a timely boot to it. Corner to the Atlético Pantoja team.
To be struck from the man who won it, Juan Carlos Lopez, and he's got 5 white shirts to aim for. And this is against 6 red and black. Who will win out? The white shirt so far, and it's behind for a goal kick to Arnett Gardens.
Not sure that that was the greatest effort at a header that time around from the number 32 player, Ediardo Centeno. Really just put his head there as opposed to heading the ball. Really didn't go at the ball with too much conviction. Thought he could have done a little bit more purposeful job of heading towards goal on that occasion.
And we more than know what he's capable of. He had 2 headed goals in the semi-finals, so we know he can do it.
Yes, but it was rather half-hearted. Granted, he was some distance back. He would do well to be the goalkeeper from there, but he really didn't go in with any real sense of purpose.
Want to take the throw quickly. The referee says no, don't take it quickly because it's not yours. It's Arnett Gardens'.
And Nesbeth ensuring that he stole a few yards, but the referee is having none of it. He's had a good game, the referee.
Free kick to Arnett. 21 yards away from Baez's goal. And Vishnal Harris. But he's moved away from it. And he's left it for, seems, Russell. But Baez is trying to arrange his area. They're in his domain. And it's Russell who is going to have to leg up on this free kick. All the players lurking on the edge of the 18-yard area. Something is wrong with inside the box. They'll all charge inside as soon as the kick is taken. They've done so. And Arnett just appearing on the back step. Nesbeth unable to get a foot on that one.
It was a good free kick. Eluded all the defenders. Everybody jumping and missing it. And Nesbeth a millisecond too slow.
Needed a bit more commitment though. Really should have gone. I'm sure he's upset with himself. You needed a bit more commitment. Put yourself in that. It was a half-hearted attempt at getting the ball in such a crucial area. It's a bit more commitment.
I think maybe at the back of his mind he thought that the ball may have been headed away. So you're right. I didn't think that he approached it with the kind of commitment that he could have. But it eluded about 3 central defenders who jumped for it. And then he just couldn't come through the back door.
Look at the ball possession percentage. The team from Pantoja, they're ahead on that. Well, the shots, Arnett are leading in that department. And would you believe it? The game just started and we're approaching 30 minutes. We're just about a minute away from 30 minutes. It's moving at pace. This is Juan, Carlos Lopez with the free kick. Cleared away by Oldham. It's not gone far though. Still in just around the danger area. Innocent heading it further back into the 18-yard area. Well, the whistle intervenes and Arnett will come away with a free kick.
The Arnett Gardens team has settled down. So has the Atlético Pantoja team. It's a good football game. 2 evenly matched teams. Neither at the moment has any clear or distinct advantage over the other. You couldn't tell from what you've seen so far which of the 2 teams are likely to win the game. It's still very even. And then the number can play. You suspect that it will take some brilliant goal or just some rank bad mistake to separate the 2 teams. Not a lot between them at the moment.
Coach Lennon Bell looks like a very likable person. Free kick to Arnett. Belatedly, the whistle went. Vishnal Harris saying, referee, why it took you so long?
I agree. Vishnal Harris was fouled, dragged down, and it was not a case of another Arnett Gardens player getting the ball, so the referee was thinking about the advantage. He did make the call belated, and Vishnal Harris was nonplussed by it all, but in the end the correct call was made.
The crowd has gotten much, much better, much bigger, and now we're operating in maybe 85–90% full house.
This referee seems to have eyes in the back of his head. I don't understand it. Or maybe some communication from his assistant referees with these things in their ears nowadays. He was maybe 40 yards away from the people who he gave a talking to, and clearly might have been looking, I would think, in the other direction. And he ran 40 yards back to have a word. Interesting.
Here's a free kick. Nicely floated. The captain by Bale. Must be a free kick and a card as well.
Yeah, Javier Johnson, the referee will rule that the player was maybe denied a goal scoring opportunity. Oh, that was just a yellow card. Whether a goal scoring opportunity or not, he was not the last defender, so there was somebody else that he would have had to negotiate. But that was just a bad foul for a player who has wheeled away from you, has beaten you, never had any intention, Javier Johnson, of going for the ball, and just took down his man.
He's got to be prepared to work for his money tonight, Javier Johnson, because Espinal is not an easy customer. He's going to run and bustle and push and try to bulldoze his way all night long. And Javier has the markup job on him. He's really got a long night ahead of him, I can tell you. It's a corner for the Atlético Pantoja team. The captain and Vishnal Harris coming together over on the far side. Not in your vision at the minute. Who is Damien Hyde. There's the captain, Bibeo. Wasn't too happy with Visional Harris running and shoving him. Here they are having a chat about it. In fact, only one talking. Visional trying to taunt him, trying to get him off his game. And to compound things, he's walking alongside the captain as if he's gotten a markup job on him. Keep an eye on that little matchup in this bigger frame.
Oh, that was innocent. That shows you why he's not an attacking player. Came out of central defense as they sometimes do on these dead ball kicks, but that header from Innocent tells you why he plays defensive midfield and not an attacking player.
See, defenders head up, attackers head down.
There you go. Certainly headed up that time around.
Harris on out of that bit of play, and now it's Silva. It's actually the number 20, Jonathan Fania, operating over on that right. There's a striking resemblance to Leonardo Silva. Height, no problems at all. The ball was sticking to his palms like he applied crazy glue to it. The Bale.
One of the things that is happening, Wayne, because Jonathan Fania going down that left-hand side has been posing some issues. They have allowed Nesbeth to drift a little bit left to deal with him, and they have freed up Russell to do some running down the left-hand side.
That was intended for Marvin Morgan. But Reed, very fit player, back in the business, and Marvin Morgan now needs to get a good cross. He did get a good cross, but it was met quite efficiently by the man, Eduardo Centeno, out of Venezuela. But Arnett is back with it. Russell. Ate. Pushed off it by Reniki Anderson.
Reniki Anderson, who's known to be one of the people on this team who does the dirty work, has had a very quiet game because he's been playing on the right-hand side of the Arnett Gardens defense. Hasn't seen too much of the action because a lot of the action is going on the other side of the defense. So Reniki Anderson has had not too much to do playing in that right back position.
Having watched the game between the teams over in Trinidad and Tobago, the Pantoja team would have left that game believing, well, a yellow card's been shown to Al Nesbeth. And did he talk his way into the referee's little notebook? Let's see what happened. Judge for yourself. All right, so here it is that Fania was getting, oh, that was it. His hand was all over Fania.
And that is one of the things. Fania is causing problems when I did say it down that right-hand side, or down the Arnett Gardens left-hand side. He's fast, he's quick, and that time around Nesbeth was well and truly beaten, had to hang on to his man, wanted a piece of the shirt. Maybe it would be good if Russell came back, because Fania down that right-hand side or down that left-hand side is already beginning to be a problem.
You don't want your team to rack up the cards, but if they do, you don't want your defenders to be the ones. And 2 yellow cards have been shown to 2 of the Arnett Gardens defenders. That's got to play on the mind of the coach. They've got to be very, very, very careful now. Nesbeth and Jabor Johnson. Here's a ball comes in, and a corner. Came off the head of Jamar Martin.
You wonder if that was deliberate. Did he deliberately head it over the bar? Let's have a look at this.
Didn't know what was happening. Take no chances. You don't know what's behind you.
He wasn't intending for that to go behind him. He was trying to head it out. I've seen those ricochet and ended up in the far corner.
He's remonstrating with his own player. In fact, he's remonstrating with, of all persons, Visional Harris. What did Visional not do? Because Martin is in his domain and he wants to organize things. And he was having an almighty go at Visional Harris. And a bit of pushing going on. The captain from the Pantoja team asking referee Aguirre, what did I do? He said, listen, you were pushing. So free kick to Arnett Gardens. There it is. There it is. Well, Visional, well.
Oh, that was more than a push. It was almost an elbow thrown.
He did throw an elbow. And maybe the referee should have taken a turn and look at that. But I suppose he took into consideration again that he was also provoked because half of his shirt was in the hands of Visional Harris.
This referee has an eagle eye. I'm very impressed with what he's done so far.
Here's Oldham. Morgan. Reed is brought into the thought process. Oldham. Again, the Atlético Pantoja team defensive unit. Resolute. Now, Here's the man who's been having a really good game for Nia. Picks out Matea. Matea over there on the far side. He's looking for assistance from Fania, and he gets it. Now Carlos Lopez. Sharing of the football by the Atlético Pantoja team is very good. Corner. They're racking up the corners.
Nesbitt is having a problem.
Most of the questions of the Arnett team.
Nesbitt is having a problem way down that left-hand side. He's like Bigger Thompson, takes a while to turn. Bigger Thompson reads the game much better as the man in that central defensive position. Fania's pace is bothering him. He isn't turning as rapidly. And if Arnett Gardens concede a goal, you could very well see it coming from one of those plays on the deep left-hand side.
Corner to be taken by Juan Carlos Lopez. A low grounder. Still causing the Arnett Guards defense problems. They don't have the freedom, the Arnett defenders, of just going into those tackles because they're cautious now. They're on yellow cards, and that's what it does to you. Ball bobbling around in that danger area. Arnett struggling to get it away. And they've called upon one of their attackers to get it away, Marvin Morgan. He doesn't know that the throw is not his. Now he knows. 5 corners so far for Pantoja.
Marvin Morgan has had a good game, I think. Has done well when he has got the ball, but doesn't always have the support.
Leonardo Silva. Rising above all else. Didn't manage to come away with it. Morgan. His domicile deep inside his own area. Wasn't given an opportunity to run back. He's just planning to do so. That Pantoja team took possession. Now he has an opportunity to get back into his attacking area. Where did this 45-minute go? Reed. He has a crossover for the far left. Russell is making way for himself, but he picks out Harris, who turns expertly and showing a bit of flash. Now he brings Morgan in. Wonderful cross by Morgan. But Wise was there.
And that in that one play there, we saw the brilliance of Vishnal Harris. Got the ball, eluded his man nicely, and then a nicely weighted pass. Morgan never had to break stride. Oh, that's a horrible foul. This could be another yellow card.
Well, it is another yellow card, and it better not be one of those who are already on it.
Oh, it's Nesbitt.
He's going across. It's not Nesbitt.
Oh, not
Nesbitt is protesting. So it is going to... I'll tell you in a bit, but let's have a look at why this happened.
Oh,
so
it's Ronnie Anderson.
Is going across. He had no intention of playing the ball. Man was all on his mind. And that was a well-deserved yellow card. Stupidly taken, though.
One of the things that you notice here, when Ronnie Anderson is playing at the right back position, he found himself on the left-hand side of the field because they are worried about Fania and the number 17 down that left-hand channel. He went over, but Ronnie Anderson is what Ronnie Anderson is. He's a walking yellow card at times. The coaching staff of Arnett Guards is not too happy, but that was well called by the referee.
You could read Eugene Williams' lips. That's the assistant coach with the cap on. He said, play the ball. He's remonstrating with his defender, Renike Anderson, because he was a stupid yellow card to concede. And look how far out the player was. He was in no danger. And look at him again. He's got to be careful. And there you go. So 3 Arnett Guards defenders are on yellow cards. You don't want to be racking up cards, and if you do, don't let it be in that sensitive area. And that's what's happening to them now. So they've got to be very cautious. They're 1 card away from exiting tonight's final.
They've brought him over into that left back position. I think the coaching staff of Arnett Gardens is a little bit worried. Maybe Nesbitt will become a little bit more central. But they've brought Ronnie Anderson to stop the leaking over on that left-hand side.
Martin is the only Arnett Gardens defender not carrying a card tonight. That can't be well. That can't be good. The referees call the play back. In fact, the players from Pantoja, they are urging the referee to flash a red card, a second yellow, which would result in a red, and that talking to is not good. The next time he infringes, he's gone.
That's Ronnie Anderson again.
The follow-through, that's a yellow card offense, you know. That's a yellow. He followed through. The player had nothing to do with him. That should have been a yellow. I think the referee took into consideration that he's on a yellow card, but that in and of itself deserves a yellow card. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. The follow through, the player wasn't on the ball. He hit the player off the ball.
Ronike Anderson, temperamentally, one of the easier players to unsettle. He's not unknown to be in the wars. He is the man that they call the enforcer. He is going to give it to the opponents.
Ball just trickling away from all and sundry. And the Arnett Gardens try to get it away. They have not done so because Innocent is standing in the way. And Hyatt should easily pick this one out of the air, which he did.
That's a bad cross from Innocent. He's a central midfielder who has come up in that attacking position as the game unfolds. That's a bad cross. Good goalkeeping though.
Here's Fabian Reed. Corner conceded by Atlético Club Pantoja. It's a good first 42, 43 minutes of football. It's a lot of talking the coaches both have to do when they get back into their dressing rooms. Corner to be struck from the near side. It's taken short. Russell now operating on the near side. Martin taking no chances. Not sure what's happening behind him. Oldham collects on the near side. Harris turned very, very quickly.
He was pretending as if he was going to control the ball, allowed it to run. I was trying to just get by his man. You can see that he has some tricks in the mind, even if the body isn't yet quite ready to do it.
Well, it was actually his body that he opened up to allow that ball to run across it. So his mind and body were working in tandem just now. Just didn't manage to pull it off. Morgan was caught late.
That's good refereeing. The referee allowed the play, and then having seen that Arnett Gardens lost the advantage, then made the call back because Marvin was fouled. I am impressed with his referee. His vision seems to be all over the place.
Again, this is Morgan. Caught very, very
Oh,
late
look
there.
at that.
In fact, might have followed through.
Yes.
And should have gotten a yellow card.
Yes,
I put it to you,
indeed.
the referee did not see that.
No, that was just horrible. And finally, it does show that this referee doesn't always have eyes at the back of his head, because that was a yellow card. That had malice, a forethought.
Morgan to Oldham. We're playing out the final minutes of this first 45 minutes. Jabor Johnson has come forward. Wow, that was innocent from nowhere. So we'll have 2 minutes of bonus time. Johnson once again for Arnett. He has Morgan to his right, Reed to his left. He uses the outlet to his right in Morgan. Morgan tries to give him the give and go. Jabor is not brilliant going forward. So even though he got that ball ahead of the defender, he was favored to lose it. Good firm stance there from Fania. He's brought Espinal in. He will go for a shot. What will Hyatt do? Well, whistle passes left up right.
And this is almost like a chess game when they've brought over Ronike Anderson to counter Fania down that left-hand side. But what has happened is that Fania has now come a lot more central and freeing up that left-hand side for other people. Maybe they'll now bring Ronike Anderson a little bit more central. So both coaches are responding to what the others are doing, and it is making for an interesting but very tactical game.
So we're into the first of the 2 added minutes. Hyatt sporting the shirt with the logo of the local Premier League sponsors. And one of the questions I did ask was if the teams are going to be given new gears to play in, since it's a regional competition.
Oh, Marvin Morgan has to be careful. Yellow card.
Well, the referee, I'm not so sure that referee is going to give him a yellow card. He might have a talking to with him, because believe me, he was been taunted here, and not for the first time, by Maitea. And the referee, I'm sure, took that into consideration. Matthias' hand was all over him, actually. He reacted, which he shouldn't have done.
I thought for a moment he was going to dip to his pocket, but again, good refereeing that.
Oldham's kick into the area was easily dealt with there. Vishnal Harris.
And look at where Fania is. He's in the middle of the park. Oldham has the ball now. Fania at the moment is almost in a central midfield role, so they've taken him out completely from the right-hand side. There is he involved in well, that's not him. But here is he in the middle of the park.
Harris to Morgan. Still Morgan.
He wants help.
Is there one last bit of sting in the tail for Arnett in these closing seconds of the first half? No. The referee Aguiar has called a halt to what has been a really fast-paced first half. Jerome Waite, a lot on his mind, and his assistant Eugene Williams in tow. But at the end of the first 45 minutes, it's as you were. 0-0 at the start, and they are still 0-0. That guy had a good game, Marvin Morgan, going back to his dressing room to refresh himself. And they're battling for $50,000 and the title to be called the Flow Caribbean Club Football Champions. We're going to go to the break, and when we come back, we'll break it down for you. to the Tony Spalding Sports Complex here in Kingston, Jamaica, and we're at the halftime break. It's 8:57 local time, and it's halftime in the final of the Flow Caribbean Club Football Championship final between Arnett Gardens of Jamaica and Atlético Club Pantoja out of the Dominican Republic. Let's have a look at how things unfolded in the first 45 minutes. Fabian Reed peeling off two defenders, still had the presence of mind to turn back and caught the attention of Baez, and Baez was equal to the task, and Jerome Waite wished he was out there playing instead of coaching the team. Here's a long-range effort, and this came in from Juan Lopez, and it got the attention of the goalkeeper Hyatt, but almost 10 seconds later, this was what happened at the other end. Baez forced into a save from Vational Harris from the Arnett Gardens team. Here's a head in hands moment, and here's an opportunity for Arnett Gardens. Nesbet lacking the kind of commitment that probably could have made the difference in the end. This is Vational Harris, very skillful football player, and eventually getting the pass to Marvin Morgan, and Baez, the ball just rushed onto him, and it was a reflex save from him, and the defenders eventually bailed him out. There were one or two flash points in the game, led of course by this man, Renike Anderson, one of three Arnett Gardens defenders in particular to be shown a yellow card. This is Espinal getting away, and the shot just whistling past the lefty, beat Anderson of all persons, and goalkeeper Damian Hyde just watched as it whistled past his left upright. Very sturdy and strong, and coach Lenin Belhur, of course, piercing his technical area for most of the half. And this is the stat you're looking at there. It is, as I say, status quo, 0-0 at the start, 0-0 at the minute, and in terms of the ball possession percentage, it is Club Atlético Pantoja with the edge there. The shots on target, Arnett Gardens leading in that area. Shots off target, Pantoja leading in that area. Pantoja has been dominating possession because they also have more corners, 5-1, and the fouls almost shared evenly. 11 in total, 6 to the Pantoja team, and all the three yellow cards in the game have gone to Arnett Gardens players, in particular their defenders, Jabor Johnson and Nesbet, and of course Renike Anderson. Now we've put together a highlights package for Renike Anderson alone. It's not the greatest of highlights packages. We want to show you what has been happening with this player. We've been following him, and look at it. That was his first coming together. There's another one. So the players from Pantoja have been feeling his presence, and he worked his way into the referee's notebook on that play. There it is, and he had another one that could easily have seen him getting the first use of the showers, but the referee took into consideration. He's already on one. All right, so it's halftime here at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll continue. back to the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. At the bottom of your the left-hand corner of your screen, you're seeing the Arnett Gardens players warming up, and they'd look to get a bit of action. All right, so tell you what, we're going to show you. We just show you Enrique Anderson. We're going to show you Marvin Morgan. How many times has he gotten the ball with no one to pass it to? Look at him. He's waiting for hours to get someone to get the ball to, and eventually, when he made the pass, it went astray in the end, not from him necessarily. Here's another one. So he's been involved quite a bit, Marvin Morgan. Look at him. He's battling here against Maitea. He managed to shrug off the challenge of Maitea. And hopefully, I'm sure, for his sake, Orville, he'll be looking to see a bit more support when he goes forward.
Yeah, he is not getting the kind of support. The midfielders are not pressing up as quickly as he would like. But Marvin Morgan himself is a very pacey player. So he has the ability to break away fairly quickly. But the midfielders are not pressing up to help support him. And he's been frustrated by that. He's the kind of player that thrives on bouncing the ball off teammates and getting behind the defenders. There's a look at the crowd. Quite a smattering of red, which means that the Arnett Gardens team quite well supported here. Fairly quiet, the spectators so far. They wouldn't be unhappy with the way their team has played. They've given as good as they've got. But it's still 0-0 at halftime. There's a look at the Atlético Pantoja team, looking quite...
well, they look like the players, some of the... That's a banner for the Atlético Pantoja team. They just look like some of the players from Club Francis Kane, I would reckon, who are going to be playing on Wednesday. So they've made their way into Jamaica. Just happen to be sitting on the banner where the Club Atlético Pantoja team was sitting as they made their way back out from the tunnel onto the field. And the Pantoja players have shown first, Innocent leading the group coming out. So there's also Leonardo Silva, and in the frame here is Eduardo Centeno, and there is Juan Carlos Lopez, and so on and so forth. They're making their way onto the field, just laboring. They've still got about maybe 3 or 4 minutes before they get a restart, and the officials, in the meantime, having a chat amongst themselves in the middle of the park. Joel Aguiar from El Salvador, working in tandem with Juan Zumba, also from El Salvador, and Corey Rockwell. We did tell you that Zumba and Rockwell are going to the World Cup along with the 4th official, Mr. Jair Marufo, and they're all looking forward to that trip to Russia. I'm sure the World Cup gets underway in just a mere 35, 36 days' time, and they continue to build up. So the Arnett Gardens team yet to show. The Pantoja team on the field, most of the players, that is. In fact, all 11 players are back out. And now the Arnett Gardens team emerges from their dressing room. It would like to be a fly on the wall to hear what Jerome Waite had to say to them. And I'm sure he might have had some special words for the 3 defenders who are on the yellow card, because they've got to tread carefully and put them under a bit more pressure. That's Fabian Reed. He's covered miles in just the 45 minutes. And as Orville continues to say, this referee has had a decent game thus far.
Yeah, seems to be... I get the feeling that this referee must have played some kind of football, because he almost reads ahead of where the ball is and almost anticipates where the fouls are likely to be, and therefore tends to call them almost as if he knows that the fouls may or may not occur. But I'm impressed with what we have seen from him so far.
So we'll get the restart in just a matter of seconds. Aguiar just making sure that he gets that restart right on time. Doesn't want to kick off before. Of course, it's working with television time. So players are out early, and he's sticking to the time. And also, as 4th official, I think he's having a conversation. He keeps looking at his watch. He has 2 watches, and the game watch is on his left hand. And it tells him that it was time to get the second half underway, and so we are underway.
Yeah, this half should be interesting when there were lots of tactical maneuvers going on by both coaches, as both tried to counteract what the other was trying to do. A lot of it was concentrated on the left side of the Arnett Gardens defense. But let's see how this half unfolds. It's a good game of, I like to say, chess, as both coaches responding to what the others are doing. Here's Nesbitt.
And we can't remind you enough, it's a play to the finish, minus the extra time. So, simply put, at the end of regular time, if the scores are locked up, at whatever score it is, once they're locked up, then they go straight into the taking of penalties. Let's have a look at this latest infringement. Innocent, guilty of fouling the Arnett Gardens number 8, Visional Harris, and for that,
I think he trotted on his boot, forcing a twist, maybe to the ankle or to the knee. This is a very injury-prone player. The referee is asking if he wants to go off, and he's just signaled no. He'll scramble to his feet. He wants to keep going.
Had a really horrible injury which kept him out for a year and 12 months, and it just recurred. And just now, Nesbitt pushed over Jonathan Fania. The referee did not see it. The players are calling his attention to it. In fact, the players are looking over to the assistant referee to say, did you not see that? It was an off-the-ball incident. And Juan Carlos Lopez has gone over to Nesbitt, clearly asking, what was that about? I would ask the same question. Have a look at this. Look at this.
That was horrible. The referee's back was turned.
Free kick to Arnett Gardens inside their own half. And Fania, a shake of the head, like saying, I can't believe this. That would have really sent Nesbitt back to the dressing room, because that definitely would have been a yellow card. So an off-the-ball incident. Fabian Reed. Shot charged down. There's Nesbitt. Just wondering how much, if at all, the yellow cards are playing on the minds. That was a handball by Espinal. Yes.
And Nesbitt Wayne has been brought in a more advanced position on this left-hand side. And like I said, the tactical maneuverings continue. This could be interesting.
Ball running away from Espinal. Morgan. Out jump here. Oh, here's Nesbitt. Keep him away from tackles as much as you possibly can. I think that's the message. They don't want him in that area where he has to make too many tackles. They need him more to handle and pass the football. He's on a yellow card and living dangerously. So I would probably remove him from there where he's tackled as opposed to
look how advanced he is.
Here he is. Now gets a good cross. Morgan having to give chase. Does he have the legs to get there? Don't think so. Whoa! And it's a throw into the...
Oh, Marvin Morgan retaliates, having felt he was pushed into the advertising boards. Retaliated. It would be interesting to see how the referee deals with this one.
Well, I thought the referee would have a whole lot to say. But at least I expect is for him to have a chat with him.
Marvin Morgan felt he was pushed here. He was shouldered, almost going head first into the advertising boards. He didn't like that. He retaliated. The ball was then thrown back at him. And the game now developing into a little argy-bargy. The player, there's a lot at stake, Wayne, and it's obvious.
And I mean, coming together of players is a natural thing in football. There's a Captain Rebel down, holding onto his nose. Referee Aguila having a chat. Let's look at what happened in this situation here, because Fabian Reed, that's off. He's off.
What was that?
He's off. He's off. The referee did not see that. He's off. He's off.
The game
you don't raise your hand and put it on a player off the ball. He's off.
That was just horrible.
He's off. And the coach needs to just tell his players to calm down. I mean, you don't need to tell them that. These are players who play at this level all the time. They should know that. But that was horrible. There's no way Fabian Reed should still be on the field. Don't retaliate. Yes, he was kicked. Allow the referee to deal with it. You don't retaliate. And in such an aggressive way, to a point where you raise your hand and push the player in the face. Don't have your right and give it away. That's the moral of the story.
The game has developed a little physical nature about it. You can tell that there's a lot at stake. Neither side wants to lose. And every ounce of energy is being put into it. Every sinew, every fiber being given.
There's a chase on. Matea. His cross going behind for a goal kick. So let's get back to the football now. It's almost like you're at a boxing match and a game of football broke out. So we're on to 50 minutes. And these players just need to calm things down. We've been enjoying a very good game of football, even though sometimes this can't be bad for it because it urges the players on, gets them into the mood to want to fight a bit more.
Can I tell you that I like when players are like this? It makes the spectacle more interesting from a spectator's point of view. You don't want to see open war on a football field, mind you. But the odd pushing and the odd shoving does create a greater spectacle, does create for more drama, which usually creates more interest in a game. I don't mind this at all. As long as it doesn't develop where the spectators now getting involved and start throwing debris. But when two teams are going at each other hell for leather like this, I like it.
Good control by Morgan. Ball is back in the area. Here's a chance ball. Cleared away there by the club Atlético Pantoja defender. And Fabian Reed's eyes lit up. He thought he was alone with Baez. And out of nowhere was Russell. Very good defending there from Russell. Reed was one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Poor pass. Oldham's pass to Marvin Morgan really was lacking. The crowd doesn't like that call. And the crowd now getting involved as well.
Lopez twisting and turning. Nowhere to go at the moment. Now he uses his captain.
I don't know if the teams are doing it deliberately, Wayne, but a lot of these shoving incidents that we are seeing is when the referee and the assistant referee's eyes would not be on the ball. We did see a shove in the face. We saw a late kick to the back of the knee of one of the players, but all these off the ball. Now look at this. This game is now developing into something a little bit too physical for the casual fan. I like the odd energy, but this could end badly if the referee doesn't, just impose himself a little bit more.
So in the main, the referee allowing the play to continue, allow the game to flow. Nesbeth flinging himself down, turning around, looking for the referee to give him a penalty, which was never coming. This is Russell. 2-3s clash. Oldham, edge of the area. His first touch let him down. He was hoping to bring it down one time and hope that he would have enough time to get a shot off. Neither happened. And now he's back to effecting a throw. Nice chest pass there from Vishnal Harris. Morgan found the defense of Pantoja just a bit too much to handle.
That move to bring Nesbeth up to playing a bit more attacking role is paying off. He's big and he's bustling. He doesn't lose the ball easily.
Well, you want him to be at the end of tackles as opposed to him making the tackles, because it seems as if he's right on the edge of a red card. And you can't have your three key defenders on yellow cards having to be cautious. So they've switched things around. And Jabora Johnson is playing closer to the center of the fence, along with Martin, with Renike Anderson right in front of them.
Yeah. There's a poor pass earlier. Oh, nice.
Stylishly done. Here's Arnett, streaming forward in numbers. Well done by Centeno. Fania skips away from Nesbeth. Flicks out Matea.
Fania is now operating in the middle of the park. Now he may just go down the wing, but that is in counter to Ronnie Anderson going on the left-hand side.
Free kick one here. Foul committed by Edwards. And he's immediately making a change. Arnett Gardens. And let's see who they're replacing. It looks like Oldham is going off. As we look again at that tackle, nothing more than a free kick, says the referee. So Jamar Jackson is coming on, and Oldham is the man going to be sacrificed. So Ricardo Oldham is off. There he is, exiting the stage. Played a full 90 on Friday. And Jamar Jackson, JJ, has made his way onto the park.
Ricardo Oldham put in a decent shift on the right-hand side of midfield. Gave a lot of running. He didn't shirk from the challenges. His work rate was high. He did pretty well.
We've not had a chance to see this Atlético Pantoja team, not on Friday night, not so far tonight, having a free kick dead center of goal to see what kind of skill they possess. The player standing over the ball at the moment is Juan Carlos Lopez. There's also Leonardo Silva. Lopez will go for it. Oh, it was a brilliant one. And my goodness, was the goalkeeper equal to the task? Yes, he was. Wonderfully done. Good passage of play. Good all round.
Damien Hyatt, having made the save, was remonstrating with somebody. I'm not sure, he may have said somebody was just not in the wall. Look at that acrobatic move. Full stretch to the right. He's still yapping away at one of his own players. And an angry goalkeeper is usually a better goalkeeper. It usually brings out the best in them when they are angry about something. And that was a great save, great shot.
For the first time, we're seeing them executing a free kick from that area. Here they are, Rebeo, and the goalkeeper Hyatt. If he was able to pull off something as brilliant as the one before that, that was like cheese for him just now. This is the man who effected that brilliant free kick, Lopez. There he is again. Sure, he'd love to have another one like that.
You almost feel that this game deserves a goal. Both teams have played well enough. This goal.
So Reed having the ball tied up under his feet, and it gave the captain of the opposition team, Bale, an opportunity to come away with it. It was a good move there from Arnett Gardens, and things looked as if it was going to open for them. But Reed, some nimble feet, got the ball tied up under them. Here they are, though, having another go at it, Arnett Gardens. Too telegraphic, but Morgan had the legs to keep it in.
Morgan wants support. He gets it.
Clearance again by the big, strong number 32, Eduardo Centeno. Here he is again. Ball is following him around. And that wayward, what looked like a wayward kick, ended up into a brilliant pass to Amario Matia. Right in front of the Arnett bench. Spinal giving chase. Did he handle the ball, or he got his hand out of the way in time? The referee says he did. Nice loping free kick. Nesbitt, bit of uncertainty. There's absolutely nothing to it.
Not sure that I agree with that pass from Nesbitt. He could always hit the ball in the other direction. Not sure what he was attempting that time around. Maybe he thought the goalkeeper was closer. That's not the greatest piece of defensive play.
And if he thought so, then you start to question his positional ability, because you can't be on the edge of the 18 right there and the ball coming over us and you think the goalkeeper is close to you. Why would the goalkeeper leave his line with a ball that is coming away from him? Here's Damien Hyatt.
Strange.
We're on the hour mark, dead on the hour mark. And this is the latest of many corners for this Pantoja team to be struck from the near side by Juan Carlos Lopez. Well done. A chance here for Leonardo Silva. And there's another brilliant save. Damien Hyatt is dealing only in brilliant saves.
One of the things you have to like about this win is that he didn't go for power. Leonardo da Silva, look at this. He was aiming for the top corner in the pigeon, we call it. When I was a schoolboy, he was aiming for top left. And Hyatt, for the second time in a few minutes, has had to dive full stretch to his right to effect another brilliant save.
Flick on header. Still with the possession. Well, they've lost it. They've gotten it back. So this is Lopez. Lopez is playing a top game, a top game for Atlético Pantoja. And Marvin Morgan is telling referee Aguilar that he dived And he said, well, don't read his lips if you speak English.
Leonardo da Silva has played very well. He's taken up the mantle to be taking the game to the Arnett Gardens team. The referee just having a chat with players who are complaining about this, that, or the other.
So Innocent is saying that he's been pushed by Tamar Edwards. This is a feisty encounter. Didn't start out this way, but as the stakes get higher and it goes deeper into the game, then becomes a battle of attrition. And goalkeeper Hyatt reading very well, keeping his eyes firmly on the ball, left his cage and collected nicely.
Well, with 50,000 US at stake, it's understandable why both teams are throwing everything into it, kitchen sink figuratively and all. 50,000 US is not a bad set of money for these players to be earning. Well, I don't know if it goes directly to the players or the clubs, but 50,000 US is 50,000 US.
It's a dangerous ball. Eduardo Centeno had to get that one up. Failing to do so would result in danger because Fabian Reed was lurking. Fania. Look-alike of Santi Cazorla from Arsenal. Called one or two other players that he bears a striking resemblance to. Russell looked over his shoulder before he collected the ball to see where he was and who was behind him. Didn't help because Pantoja has one possession back. Centeno. Good control. Killed the ball dead, Lopez. And Marvin Morgan's hands were in his eyes. And if the referee spotted that, then...
We've praised the referee here, Wayne, for his ability to spot things, but I believe that some of these challenges ought to be a yellow card. Now this, look at Marvin Morgan. He felt that he was off the ball, and then that is yellow card for me. And the referee saw it, gave him a talking to. But it's not the first time that Marvin Morgan has done something like that. Could have gouged the player's eyes out. That for me is just a yellow card.
Well, a free kick has been won by the Pantoja team. I suppose the referee could tell you that he does it for both teams.
But maybe both sets of players should have gotten yellow cards. I know sometimes referees don't like to get yellow cards, but pushing an opponent in the face is just not the way to go.
Ball is in the area. Hyatt left his line. Didn't have far to go. The referee's protecting him as well. So Arnett Gardens look for most of their attacks now to go aerial because they've gone for a player who has played overseas in the professional leagues, Newton Stirling, and they're going to replace him with Vishnal Harris. And I say Vishnal Harris is still working his way back to full fitness. He's not a 90-minute player just yet because he came back at the back end of the Premier League season. In fact, he came back in time for the semi-finals, and maybe these games come too soon for him to play a full 90. But for whatever time he's on the field, he showed the kind of quality that we know he has. And when he's back to full fitness, he's going to be one menace.
I like the change for two reasons. Vishnal Harris has probably done his shift for the night. Not the fittest of players, very influential when he's unsung, but it was obvious that he was not as involved in the plays as he was in the first half. I also like Newton Stirling because he is always that troublesome presence at the front of the attack. Very good with the head, can kick with either feet or with either foot, and could present real problems. Not himself a 90-minute player, but in 20-25 minutes can prove to be a real handful. There he is, big and tall and bustling.
So goal kick to Pantoja. This is Newton Stirling, played in the Trinidad Semi-Pro League. He had a stint in the USL League as well. He's been back in Jamaica, domiciled in Jamaica, came back with the intention of getting another contract. Has not been successful. You just get the impression that his ship has sailed as far as that is concerned. And just if he plays the rest of his career out here in Jamaica, he'll probably tell you otherwise. Who am I to be saying that? So on Friday night we saw Batista inserted, and he did make a difference because he was all over the park, and shortly you're going to get an opportunity to see him again, and he's going to come on for Fania. In the meantime, Arnett Gardens looking to take the league. A flashing header just coming off the frame of the goal. It kissed the crossbar, and that header, look at it again. Every single muscle in his neck was put into that effort. That was just brilliantly done. Jamar Jackson.
Yeah, and not only was the header great, but look at the pass and then the run into position to get that return pass. You would have loved it to go an inch or two lower than that, but it was not just the header that was brilliant. But he ran out of central or defensive midfield, got the pass, or made the pass, ran into the box, got the pass back.
So
good header.
Batista is coming on. Well, he's on now. Darwin Batista and Jonathan Fania is off. And his first contribution, Batista, is to push Tamar Edwards to the turf. Russell under pressure. He's feeling the attacker almost on his earlobes, and it forced him into the mistake.
This game, you don't get the feeling that there's a lot of goals in it. Could be one of those games that is decided by just that odd goal, by just that one goal. That's high boot.
Nesbitt is not blessed with the greatest of techniques in controlling, in passing. He can run, and he can use his body to good effect, but doesn't have a great deal more.
And if you notice, Wayne, he has backed off a little bit from that attacking role. The coach might have said, give me 5 minutes where you run at the defenders, give me pace and body and bustling energy up top. He did that for about 5 minutes, didn't work, didn't create a goal. And now we see Lennox Russell now advancing in a more advanced position, while Nesbitt has dropped off into his more accustomed defensive role.
The boy, the captain, was passed just ill-directed. Here he's again back with the ball. This time the pass is much better. And here's the star man Lopez, really playing a top game for his team tonight. So confident when he has the football. You get the impression he could do anything. Here they come again. Batista was the target, but not even he, with his speed, can get there. And the coach is so involved in the game. You just get the impression he's out there playing in his mind.
When we were little children, when you wanted something from God, they told you to clasp your hands. The coach was literally clasping his hands that time.
The Arnett players are all running in the same direction, and he confused Reed, forcing him to play the ball over on the far side. But it's working out well for them, because Russell will go for a shot. That's who he is. He got a deflection, luckily, and we'll get a corner out of it.
Look at that move by Stirling, though, before it got to Russell. One touch, his back to goal, gave Russell the pass one time. Russell was trying to just float it inside the far post. And it took a ricochet, gone for a corner. I like the game. It's very tense at the moment.
So, edge of the seat moment. It's the time of game that people start to wonder what's going to happen, and coach is starting to think a little deeper as to what could happen if the deadlock is not broken. The goalkeeper pulled away from his goal, but he had to retreat, and the ball just trickles harmlessly behind for a goal kick in the end.
That is
Newton Stirling wants a bit more than a goal kick. He thinks it took a deflection. The referee is in agreement with him, and he gets it.
That is what he was brought on for. He wins most of the headers that he goes up for. He's tall, but height alone is one thing, but he times the jumps brilliantly. And he's always a danger in these situations, because invariably he wins the headers.
Header away, and the Atlético Pantoja team was left with a bit of trouble there, because Centeno was given the marking up job on Nesbitt, but there's not another big man in that area to go with Newton Stirling. So they had a problem, and they put the captain on him, and Newton looked like a giant next to him. Now Centeno was beside Newton, and you see the effect of that. Nesbitt will go for a long-range effort. Brilliant! All round, the shot was good. The save was even better. This is what a final deserves. This is what a final is getting. Look at this. This left-footed effort from Nesbitt was just raw power, and he spotted it and reacted brilliantly. Good all-round football.
The goalkeeper was always well positioned. I didn't think it would beat him on either side, but the power of the shot just burst through the goalkeeper's hands. Luckily, he didn't parry it into the goal, but he was well placed. Didn't have to move too far either way, but the power was brilliant.
Referee. The whistle went early. He was actually blowing it for the second time. Apparently, the players didn't hear it. They did the second time. It's a free kick to the Pantoja team. So we've seen some really good saves from both goalkeepers tonight, come to think of it. Yeah. And it's almost as if they're trading brilliant saves.
Both goalkeepers have earned their keep for the game.
By the way, is from the Dom rep. They're battling for a spot in the Concacaf Club Championship, where they'll mix it up with the likes of the MLS teams and the top ones out of Mexico, like the Club Americas and so on. And Chivas were the defending champs. And of course, that round will take you somewhere in the Middle East for the World Club Championships, where you could be rubbing shoulders with the likes of Mohamed Salah or Cristiano. But that's in the distance. Get through this first. And they've got 18 minutes in regular time to do it, plus added time, or else this will have to be settled via the lottery. The goalkeeper is advancing, and the ball just trickled away from his area.
That was good work by Fabian Reed. Got by his man, did enough to create the space for the cross, where the dangerous Newton Stirling was hovering.
Nesbeth committed that foul, and he runs away from the scene of the crime. Let's have a look at it. Just clipping Batista. Batista got away from him right there.
And again, this could also be another card. That's just tackling from behind, which is illegal in the rules. It has been a very physical game with a lot of spiteful tackles and
let's have a look at
hand
this again.
movements. Good work by Fabian Reed.
Wow, that was a desperate challenge there from Centeno. Anything outside of that, Newton Stirling would have just banged that in the back of the net. Morgan having his own little battles over on the far side. Innocent. Here's the starman Lopez.
Yeah.
Will he go for a shot? No. Decides to play it in. The ball is back with Innocent in the middle of the park. What's he going to do? Offside.
Yeah, offside.
Let's have a look at it again. Yes, he was offside. Look right across the line.
But the referee
was offside, maybe a yard or two.
Got it right.
Well, the assistant referee was in line with it, so it was very easy for him to spot. If you look at where he was when the call was made, that would have been an easy one for him. Newton Stirling beaten in mid-air. Not often you say that. This is Russell. Again, a battle here with his number 3 opponent, Munoz. And were we about to see a repeat of what happened on Friday night when Tamar Edwards ran from all the way almost at the half line to bang one in the back of the net? Just didn't happen for him that time. I'm sure memories of that goal came flashing to him just now as he approached the ball.
How do you miss by so far? I mean, sometimes the pitches does make it difficult, giving you a bad bounce, but you shouldn't be missing by that far if you keep your eyes on the ball and execute the right technique.
And as you can see, Coach Bale is contemplating a substitution. Edwards, ball back in the area. It's Captain Rebo. Clumsy play there from Nesbeth. Here's Lopez. Knew he was under pressure and increased his speed just at the right moment. Russell flicking onto Jabbar Johnson. Johnson trying to invite the tackle in the area, and the Pantoja players didn't fall for it. Not at this stage of the game, not with 15 minutes in normal time. Here's Reed. He might want to go for the shot himself, even from there, believe it or not. And Morgan gets a corner out of it.
I think the Arnett Gardens team are playing as fluent in the last 3 minutes as they have played for the entire game. They are looking now like the type of Arnett Gardens team that we have grown accustomed to. They're passing the ball around with precision. They're passing it around with aplomb. Everybody's getting involved. The crowd is getting involved. You get the feeling that Arnett Gardens are suddenly feeling good about things. And this Atlético Pantoja team, they have got to be careful because Arnett Gardens are playing as well in the last 5 minutes as they have played all game.
Another Arnett corner. This is Russell from the far side. Penalty, the corner away from the area. What's the sense? He has another opportunity. Well, he's in the offside position.
And that was after really a poor attempt at a shot by Roniki Anderson. The shot would have gone for a throw.
So substitution now to be effected. Leonardo Silva, a skillful number 10, is withdrawn. And you bet the coaching staff is now thinking about penalties. This is a time of night that you do that with 14 minutes to go. And they're bringing on Roberto Rosado. And of course, Rosado was a starter on Friday night, relegated to the bench. He started the game on the bench, and now he gets a chance to come in and show what he's got. He's got 13 minutes or so to do. And it was a good show from Leonardo Silva. He ran himself into the ground. And now Roberto Rosado gets his chance.
Yeah, Leonardo da Silva played well in the first half. But as the second half wore on, he was having less and less of an effect on the game. Good when he's on the ball, but his energy level just seemed to have disappeared a little bit. Not surprising that he's substituted.
Of course, Silva is from Uruguay, and Rosado is from the Jamrep. Nicky Anderson, Kane involved. If the referee dips to his pocket.
Yellow card.
Who got that? Who was the recipient of that?
It's like number 17.
That would have been Amado Atea.
Yeah.
It's rare when Roniki Anderson is on the end of a tackle. How does he feel? He is normally the one dishing it out. That feels strange to him. Somebody really did this to me. I'm the one who's supposed to do this. I'm the expert at it. Let's have a look at it again. Yeah. Showing all 6 spike under that boot.
And I'm not going to be betting Wayne that at some point Roniki Anderson may not want to take it out on Maita. Look out for the next 50-50 balls between those two.
Defenders have good memories. Stirling trying to use his size to good effect.
And this is one of the things I like about Newton Stirling. He's known to be the player that you post up and heads the ball in, but he's quite skillful with either foot.
Arnett Gardens having the advantage here. Here's a chance for Russell! And the ball, well, the trajectory of the ball, it got the impression it was going out, but the defender took no chances. Here's Stirling. And finally, the pressure eases for Atlético Club Pantoja. I want to see that initial play because I think the ball was going out, but the defender took absolutely no chances. Good run here by Russell. Right, so the ball was going away from goal, but the captain didn't know that. He didn't know where Newton Stirling was, so he took no chances. That was the heading behind. But good movement by Arnett Gardens, good running off the ball from Russell. Had the presence of mind to sprint to the 18-yard area to collect the pass, and he did so very well, just wasn't able to finish.
Another player goes down, but I did make the point about two minutes ago that Arnett Gardens are playing as well as they have played all game. They're finding their players easier, people running into position. They are becoming more and more of a potent force in attack. The danger with that is that they don't want to leave themselves exposed because this Atlético Pantoja team can hurt them. But as far as fluency going forward is concerned, the Arnett Gardens team is right on top of their game. And if any team looks likely to score, it's Arnett Gardens. But of course, football is not decided on what is most likely to happen. But at the moment, I think the Arnett Gardens coach, Jerome Waite, would be the happier of the two coaches at the moment.
All right, so things seems to have been sorted out. Well, so it seems, because the goalkeeper is on his backside at the moment. Not so sure what's happening to him. But the referee, having sorted things out in the middle of the park, has had to run now down to the goalkeeping area. And is he calling the medical personnel onto the field? Are they running out of what they're running out of? Because the medical person now has to leave Innocent and now gone to Baez, who is down injured. And Innocent has an ice pack applied to the left hamstring. And that could very well be a candidate for a substitution. You don't want to risk hamstring injuries.
Yeah, he's still looking on in the game as if he's contemplating staying on, but he's hobbling.
What's wrong with Baez now? He's favoring his right shoulder. Can't keep your eyes on only any one player because they're falling over like flies. And I tell you this, Innocent is going to take his chances. Let's have a look at it again. This is a brilliant kick there from Nesbitt. That was goal bound. It had goal written all over it. That was just an absolutely majestic effort from the big man. And here is Russell playing in Jabor Johnson. Ran out of ideas the moment he got into the 18-yard area, and this was the latest effort. Look at this. A chance for Arnett Gardens. Probably would be no coming back from that had that lodged in the back of the cage. And Innocent is back onto the, well, he's getting ready to get back on the field. Now he's on, and he's hobbling around. Let's see if he can run this off.
They want him on the park. He's a very great stabilizing force in the middle of that defense. And as badly hampered as he is at the moment, the coaching staff is asking him just for another 8 minutes, or 8 minutes plus whatever additional time.
This is Russell. Nesbitt. So Arnett has a substitution to give. Rosado, who came on. Now Steve Clark is waiting to make his way onto the field. He came on the other night, on Friday night, and it's like for like. He was the one who came on when Morgan was forcibly substituted because he felt his hamstring. This night, it's not by force, it's strategic.
I like Steve Clark, as you said, like for like. An attacking player on the right-hand side, gets deep, eludes people easily, does have a good cross on him. Not a bad substitution at all.
He's going to run for the next 10 or so minutes. That's the kind of player he is. And with those fresh legs, he's going to test these Pantoja defenders to see what they've got left in the tank.
So if the scores are tied at the end of the regulation time and the time added on, it goes straight to penalties.
Play to the finish.
I don't think either of these two teams are thinking about that really. It's still all-out attack.
Neat little chip there from Russell. Didn't get the support on that one. So no extra time. Tied scores at regulation at the end of regular time. Straight to penalties. Keep reminding you. Batista. Rosado. Still Batista. Managing to keep the ball in. Meta. Lopez. When he's on the ball, things happen. Just needed a bit more purchase on that one. Gets it back. And he brings Batista. Batista's shot was kicked with the outside of the right foot, and that is why the ball went away from goal as opposed to if he kicked it with his laces.
That's just poor. He was under no pressure. There was no defender really hassling him. Had the time to pick his spot. Really shouldn't be hitting that far away from goal.
Hyatt has brought off no fewer than 3 goal-saving saves, if you like. Shots with goal written all over them, and he kept them out. Here's Lopez. Everything is going through him now. He's becoming a bit physical for the first time, not having his way. He's used to having control and doing whatever It feels like Fabian Reed came from behind him, robbed him of the ball, and he couldn't deal with it. Edwards has Clark over to his right. He just tried to play it to Clark, but he sold him short. And now Pantoja coming away with the ball. A nice looping ball for Batista. Batista will be beaten to it by Hyatt. Hyatt was always favored to get there ahead of him, with the advantage of him having the opportunity of using his hand.
Time running out. This one may very well be headed to penalties.
Reed. We've got 4 minutes plus what the referee will be adding for stoppages. Espinal, haven't seen him in a long while. He'll get some support from Batista. Batista, what did he do? He was looking for Espinal, but he sold him short. He was in two minds. Should I go with Espinal? Should I go for a shot? And at last minute, he decided to go with Espinal and then sold him short.
I think this Athletic Pantoja team, Wayne, of the two teams on the field, they are the one in the last few minutes here playing a touch more defensively.
Here's Reed coming forward. He's got Steve Clark with him. Newton Stirling is a target, but Stirling, no. The coach has put Centeno on Stirling. They found out what Arnett brought Stirling on for, and they've put their best and probably the biggest defender on him. And Centeno is doing a good marking up job on him. Here they come away with the ball, Pantoja.
Fabian Reed that time around, when he wanted to shoot, didn't get to shoot initially, and then just lost the plot. Should have tried to at least put a toe on it to get the pass to Russell, who was on his left. Just allowed the defender to nip the ball off him.
Pantoja has a substitution to give. So Innocent, who is clearly not well, is going off, and this man can't believe that he started the game on the bench, Quintero, but he's been given his opportunity. He's got about 2 minutes to show what he can do, but on Friday night he put on an absolute show, and when we looked tonight and he was not on the start sheet, we said, wow, but he's been given an opportunity tonight.
Somebody made the referee's book.
Fabian Reed, was it? The referee is walking behind him. Who got it? I want to have a look at that again to see who was shown the yellow card.
I'm wondering
what we can tell you as a fact is that Innocent is leaving the scene. Valdes Innocent is leaving the field, and Quintero is making his way on. Jesus Quintero had a real top game on Friday night and doesn't have a lot of time to show the amazing skills that we saw from him on Friday night, but maybe he's one of their better penalty kickers, and they wanted to get him on in place of a player that is not very fit and hobbling, which is Innocent. Maybe a very good and timely substitution from the Pantoja team.
Innocent is one of those players that you want on the field. He's a warrior, not the most pleasing on the eye all the time, but full of heart.
Jesus Quintero right in the action. Flick on header. Arnett defense standing firm. They've given up a throw with a minute to go in normal time. So it seems as if we're heading for penalties, and now the coaches are consulting their respective benches. Okay, Pedro Menez was a player who was shown the yellow card.
And at this stage, neither team would want to score, would want to be scored on. So you may just see the two teams being a little bit more cautious now than they would have been at any stage up to this point.
So we're in the final minute of a regular time, and the fourth official, Jair Marufo, well, he won't be showing we're not seeing the display board. I suppose the referee will decide how many minutes he has in mind.
And I'm not noticing if you're noticing it, Wayne, but every time Hyatt, the goalkeeper for Arnett Garden, kicks the ball, he winces as if there's some lower back problems. Now, with the penalties to come, the least thing you want is a goalkeeper who is having back issues.
Well, the display board is showing 3 minutes, so we're into the first of those 3 minutes. So we're 3 minutes away, at the very least, from this championship final being decided via the penalty kick route. The game will be taken out of the hands of the coaches and put firmly into that or those of the players.
You could almost say it will be taken out of the hands of the coaches and to the feet of the players. Literally.
Clearance by Quintero. Jesus Quintero. Here's Espinal. Do we have one last piece of magic to see in this one that will swing this game one way or another? Clark. Overhit.
Poor cross. Again, I have very little tolerance for that kind of thing. Under no pressure, you're alone on the ball. Why would you hit 10, 12 yards further from the target that you want? Nowhere close to Stirling, which was his aim. Really inexcusable for me. Just lacking concentration. Ask him to do that in the nets. Get it closer to Stirling. Or at practice, he'll do that 10 times out of 10. But with the adrenaline rush and the emotions running high in a game, sometimes players make those kinds of silly mistakes.
Martin with possession for Arnett Gardens. The clock is ticking. And the clock will tell you that we are just a minute away from the taking of penalties to decide $50,000 US, to decide who are the new Caribbean club champions and who ultimately gets into that Concacaf Club Series 2019.
And if it goes to penalties, both these teams would feel pretty confident with their goalkeeper. Both have done well in this game. Both have ensured that the other team doesn't take the lead with some breathtaking saves. So both teams will feel that their goalkeeper are in good shot-stopping mode. So they'll feel fairly confident. But you never know with the dreaded penalties.
Stirling fits the ball on Reed. Looking to, well, there's no way there for Reed to get an opening, or looking if you like. But still Arnett probes. They're huffing and puffing, still not able to blow this Dominican Republic base club's house down. Arnett must be encouraged because the ball has been played around in the Pantoja area, and now that should be the last bit of play, and we're heading for penalties for sure. A referee, Aguiar, looked at his watch, and he tells him that the 3 minutes are up, and now the coaches can draft their team sheets up because we're going to penalties. We are going there, and this championship final will be decided from the spot.
Adds to the drama, adds to the excitement. Penalties are great for fans, great for spectators, great for the public viewing on Flow Sports 1. Not always great for teams because it can be such a nerve-wracking experience. And at this stage, it's anybody's game. Sometimes it's not the team that you think will win. It comes down sometimes to somebody just kicking wide or high, or to the goalkeeper just making brilliant saves. So we're down to the lottery that penalties are. Here are some of the things that took place during this half. Ball floated inside. Fabian Reed just couldn't get it down with that first touch, and the ball bouncing too far ahead of him for him to eke out a shot. Here's Marvin Morgan trying to get the ball across him. The fouls were coming thick and fast. Referee has had his hands full. Here was the first of two rather brilliant saves from Hyatt. He certainly earned his keep. Juan Carlos Lopez was brilliant for this Atlético team. And then here's another one that brought out not Robert Hyatt, but Damien Hyatt. He certainly earned his keep. And there's the coach saying, wow, that was close. And on the other end, the goalkeeper didn't know too much about that. The header was hit onto the bar, almost becoming a hero that time around. Jamar Jackson, another brilliant save, this time from the Atlético goalkeeper. It all happened Here was a chance for Javier Johnson to run into it. He did, but then tangled into himself. And then here's Russell. And then just cleared away in the whisk of time. Defender did well because Newton Stirling was hovering at the back post. And the referee saying, that's enough, we're going to penalties. There's the statistics, 0-0 at the end of full time. And the possessions relatively even. Atlético Pantoja 52, Arnett Gardens 48. 4 shots on target each for both teams, almost equal for shots off target for both teams as well, 6 and 5. Atlético had 8 corners to Arnett's 5. Fouls were committing thick and fast, again fairly even between both teams, 12 and 11. Yellow cards 3 and 2. So in many ways it was a very even game statistically, and the most important statistic is that it was even as far as goals were concerned. And now we go to the dreaded penalties. The Arnett Gardens team there, no doubt tense, no doubt feeling the pressure of playing for $50,000 US. And all they can do now is wait and see. This is where the coaches will decide who takes what and in what order. And this is where it comes down to goalkeepers, great saves. I don't know what advice you can give to your players here, weighing the Atlético team in a huddle. The coach is having a few last words. What could he be saying here?
Well, they've already decided on who are going to be taking the penalties, and the Pantoja team will go first.
Look at him trying to G them up. Wish I could be hearing what he's saying. He's really trying his best to get into their psyche. And the Arnett Gardens team, on the other hand, looks to be praying. Is that what they're doing? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Is that what they're saying? I don't know how much divine intervention will help them now. It comes down to how good the penalties are kicked. But this is a nervous moment for both teams. Hyatt was brilliant during regulation time. Sometimes that confidence that the goalkeepers will take.
So Lopez will have the first kick for Pantoja.
Referee trying to explain something to both goalkeepers. Maybe he'll be watching if they'll be advancing off the line. You are allowed to move sideways but not forward. And maybe just reminding the goalkeepers that he'll be looking out for that. Here's the first kick.
So Lopez took 1, 2, 3 steps backward. He's faced with Hyatt in front of him, and he kicks it powerfully down the middle. And Club Pantoja has the lead.
One of the things that goalkeepers like is when they can establish a rhythm watching the player's feet. I think that there was a little stop here by Lopez just before he kicked. That was brilliant. Hammered it to the right of Hyatt. I don't think Hyatt is 100% healthy. Good penalty. And 1-0 lead to Atlético Pantoja.
So step forward, Russell. So Pantoja leading 1-0 in the penalties. $50,000 Concacaf Club Championship spot. And the Caribbean Championship title on the line. And Russell kicks it in the back of the net, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way.
A little psychological play there when he stood with his back to the ball, saying a word and then just darted forward, maybe hoping to catch the goalkeeper off rhythm. The goalkeeper dived the other way. And it's all happening here, all mind games. It's 1-1 at the moment.
Set forward the captain, Rebeo.
The crowd is giving him a little stick. He was one of the players who was involved in a lot on the field in terms of physical play. The crowd letting him have it.
Steps up, kicks powerfully into the back of the net as well. So Pantoja leading. So they're perfect from 2 kicks. Arnett perfect from their only kick. And Newton Stirling is moving forward to the 18-yard area.
Yeah, he enjoyed that. A little triumphant fist in the direction of the Arnett Gardens fans. They have the advantage. Here is Stirling. Known to be a great header of the ball, but also known to have a good kick on him. He'll kick, no doubt, with the left foot, but he can kick with the right.
Newton Stirling to keep Arnett Gardens perfect from the spot, and he does so. Wonderfully taken penalty from Newton Stirling.
I think technically this is the best penalty so far. When they are that low, the goalkeeper has difficulties in getting to them. From my days at cricket, it's always easier to catch a ball that has height on it. That was blasted into the low corner. 2-2.
Here is Centeno, Eduardo Centeno. The clash of the big men.
Centeno with a smile on his face. Doesn't look to be easily flustered, and usually when the players are not flustered, they usually score.
Here's Centeno. The crowd tried to put him off. He stutters, kicks. Hyatt had no chance. So, Pantoja, perfect from 3. Arnett needs to match that. And they've sent forward Nesbet. So as we look at it again, goalkeeper going the wrong way, and he's feeling it. Centeno.
Of course, goalkeepers all over the world are known to pick a side. Sometimes I want the goalkeepers to stay on their feet, save the bad ones. But goalkeepers have their own philosophy. Sometimes they do go the right way and it works. Pressure now on Nesbet.
Nesbet must keep Arnett Gardens in this. Well taken penalty down the middle as well. He punches the air in delight.
That was a good penalty. A little bit too close from where the goalkeeper was for my liking, but I suppose he banked on the fact that the goalkeeper would have chosen a side, sent it down the middle, and after 6 penalties, both teams have refused to miss. Neither of the goalkeeper having managed to get a hand onto any of the 6 kicks so far.
So he steps forward, Quintero. Jesus Quintero, he came on clearly for this purpose. Did he get himself in the game enough to take a penalty? You bet. You bet he did.
If everybody else is scoring, then a man with the first name of Jesus, you don't expect him to miss. He's pronounced Jesus. And in the English-speaking countries, that would be Jesus.
This is a crucial penalty for Arnett Gardens, and they're sent forward Fabian Reed.
Yeah, Reed, one of the best attacking players here for Arnett Gardens, one of the best attacking players in Jamaica. So he's expected to score, but pressure can do funny things to the mind. And he knows now that if he misses, it's not curtains, but it would almost be. So this is one he does not want to miss.
Fabian Reed steps up, kicks, and saved by Baez. And if Pantoja scores this penalty, they are champions of the Caribbean, and the fans know that. They dread this. Fabian Reed's penalty has been saved by Baez.
The goalkeeper was always leaning to his left, and sometimes as a penalty taker, you've got to watch that little body language of the keeper. The keeper was, sometimes it's a bluff where they lean one way and then dive the other way, but he really dived to the direction that he appeared to be diving. If this scores, it's all over.
Armando Maita has been given the chance to crown Atlético Club Pantoja Caribbean Football Club champions, and it's saved. Arnett is back in the game. Damien Hyatt saved Maita's kick, and the penalties will go on.
Damien Hyatt diving to the right, the ball going to the left, but look at the boot, and that's what good goalkeepers do. Anything will do. You get a toe on it, a heel, a knee, a shin, just prevent the ball from going over the line. He was diving in one direction, ball going in the other direction. He had the presence of mind to stick out the boot, and his team is involved. It's now down to sudden death.
So Arnett Gardens still in this. Jamar Jackson came on as a substitute. He's been given the responsibility to prolong Arnett Gardens' journey to Caribbean Club Championship status. Here he is. Steps up, scores, and the pressure is now on Pantoja.
Look at his face. It shows somebody who temperamentally is sound. Not flustered. Look at him, not showing any real signs of nerves. Steel in his veins. And now the pressure is on this man with his head wrapped like a mummy. And will this be the death of this team from the Dominican Republic.
Russell, if he misses, Arnett wins. And he scores.
Oh, Hyatt was disappointed. He felt he should have gotten something to that, but that was a great penalty. Once you get them away from the goalkeepers like that with pace, and this one was, Hyatt felt he could get something. There's a celebration. He likes that.
Jabor Johnson is stepping forward for Arnett. He needs to score to keep this going. If he scores and Pantoja misses, then Arnett wins. If he misses and Pantoja scores, then Pantoja win.
Usually like to read the body language of the players and their face. Just before the penalty, Jabir Johnson is not necessarily looking like the picture of confidence at the moment.
Here is Johnson in the back of the net.
Did the goalkeeper get a touch? Well, now he celebrates.
Pressure is back on Pantoja.
The goalkeeper may have just gotten a touch, but not enough to prevent the ball from going over the line. No, maybe not. Great penalty. When they are hit that close to the upright with pace, they are almost impossible to save.
So the goalkeeper will take this kick. Baez. Does he keep Pantoja in the game? Or will Arnett Gardens will be crowned champion on this kick? And he keeps him in the game. Best penalty on the night.
The one penalty that the goalkeeper did not move, I think Hyatt felt that that may just be sliding over the bar. He didn't move at all. Stood rooted to the spot as it was blasted into the top left-hand corner. I like to see the goalkeepers doing something, anything. But that was also a fantastic penalty. And it's going to be
Jamar Martin.
Yeah.
Stepped forward.
This is tension. This is sport at its best. This is not just about football skills. This is about the ability to hold your nerve.
Martin to keep Arnett in. And he misses. He misses. And Pantoja are champions of the Caribbean. Arnett crestfallen. And they're celebrating. Pantoja are champions. They will be going to the Concacaf Club Championship. And the crowd here in despair as the Dumrep representatives are celebrating.
It wasn't a great, well, clearly it wasn't a great penalty because it was missed. But that's nerves for you, and I'm always sympathetic to a player in this kind of situation. It's not the easiest of things to do. All of a sudden the goal shrinks. The goalkeeper looks as big as a mountain. And bigger players than he would have succumbed to this. Zico, Socrates, players of that ilk miss penalties, famous penalties in World Cup. Messi misses penalties. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. Both teams played well.
So we look at that miss again. That was the penalty that gave Pantoja the Caribbean Club Championship title. And aren't they happy? Aren't they happy? A good victory for them tonight. It was an evenly matched contest. Two teams, very little between them. And in the end, they came away champions. The celebrations will continue long into the night. We're waiting on the post-game interviews as we look at the scenes here. There's a celebrating party They came to Jamaica and saw off Jamaica's two best football clubs, Arnett and Portmore, and they're deserving champions. Pictures are speaking for themselves. All right, so let's now go downstairs to get the post-game interviews in. Orville has Newton Stirling.
All right, we're here having a quick chat with some of the people involved. We want to have a chat with Newton Stirling. A penalty loss must be harder to deal with than an average loss. What's your own feeling at this point?
Well, not necessarily harder to deal with because it was a hard-fought battle, but you know it's penalty, so the game could go either way. And
yeah.
Unfortunately, we lost, but it's just one of them games. We still come second, and we're going through still. So.
What do you make of a penalty kick situation? Do you like it? Do you not like it as a player?
Well, it's not like we have a choice. You have to like it because it's a part of the game, especially when you come on to semi-finals and finals. So you just have to deal with it when it comes.
What do you thought about the average, the regular run of play? Did you think that your team could have done enough before it got here? Or you thought the 0-0 draw at the end of regulation time is a fair reflection of what went on?
Personally, the 0-0 draw is kind of fairly reflection of the game, but both teams got opportunities to finish and we didn't, so part of the game, I guess.
Here the team from the Dom Rep celebrating for all their worth. Tough loss, but good luck for the rest of the
competition.
Congrats
to them. Yeah.
All right, so now we want to have a chat with Jerome Way, the coach. Coach, I don't know what to ask you in a situation like this. It's hard. What's your own feeling now?
Well, you know, when it comes down to the Janet penalty, that is something can go either way.
Yeah.
And it is what the nerves will make the difference.
What's your advice to players in a penalty situation like this? What do you say to the people who are going to be having the kicks?
One other thing, don't go with a two-mind, you know, where execution is concerned. So make up your mind what you plan to do and go with a purpose. Because one of the key things is pace. You notice that penalty that was that went wide, it was pretty much too soft. So the pace wasn't on it. But overall, it's a good performance. We should have won this game in regular play. The one that, you know, the defender clear off the line. But it was a good tournament.
I was about to ask you that. During that 0-0 run, were you happy with how your team played?
Yes, pretty much. Because this team, as you all know, is a pretty much very physical team. And they defend well. And also, you know, offensively, they really didn't have much to offer. Because we had a strong defensive team as well.
All right. Good luck for the rest of the tournament. Well played game.
All right, thanks.
All righty then. All right, two questions. The team played well throughout the regular run of things. Were you happy that it went to the penalty shootout?
El equipo jugó pues bastante bien, pero ¿qué les alegró de la parte de los penales?
No, la verdad que contento por el triunfo, un equipo muy duro y bueno, hoy tuvimos la virtud de nosotros convertir y llorar y bueno, tuvimos la suerte de nosotros ser campeones, pero fue un digno rival y un fuerte equipo.
It was a very, very strong team that we have to play, but of course we were very happy that we will be able to win the penalties.
All right, the game ended 0-0, and the penalties could go either way. Was his team nervous that they would come out victorious in the penalties?
Bueno, el equipo, sabes, terminó el partido 0-0 y se fueron a penaltis. ¿Ustedes estaban nerviosos de llegar a esa instancia?
No, estábamos confiados que lo íbamos a ganar en los 90 minutos, pero se fue a penales y bueno, yo creo que los penales más suerte y verdad y bueno, nos tocó a nosotros ganarlo.
So we were confident that we could win the 90 minutes, but of course we went to the penalty kicks, and luckily we were able to win it in the penalties.
All right, congratulations, well played.
Felicitaciones y bien jugado.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Right. Now we want to have a quick chat with the coach of the Domrep, Mr. Lenin Bastidas. How are you feeling now, coach, after such an emotional win?
¿Cómo se siente ahorita después de esa victoria tan emocional?
Lo luchamos, trabajamos para esto y dijimos que íbamos a venir acá a salir campeones, gracias a Dios lo hicimos y esto para estos muchachos que triunfaron, hicieron lo que uno le pidió en todo el año, a mis padres, a mi hermana, a mi esposa, de verdad que esto, a mi sobrina que está creciendo y es hermosa y bueno, de verdad que esto para todos ellos y para todo el pueblo dominicano.
I think I'm very happy, I'm very proud of my team because they were able to win this game. They listen all the time, they follow every step, every direction that we gave them. This is for my family, my niece, my daughter, and this is for them.
I saw you giving some last-minute instructions just before the penalty was taken. He was very adamant trying to G his players up. I'd love to know what he was saying.
Usted estaba dando bastantes instrucciones ya hacia el final del partido, bastante enérgico, bastante... ¿De cuál fueron esas instrucciones?
De defender de la mejor manera, creo que Arnett Gardens hizo un gran partido. Tengo que felicitarlo también porque jugaron bastante bien los últimos 20 minutos. Ellos fueron los protagonistas en el ataque, nosotros defendimos de la mejor manera y sabíamos que en penales lo íbamos a ganar.
I asked my team to be very defensive, to stay strong, defending because Arnett Gardens in the last 20 minutes was very, very offensive. So that was the key.
All right, thank you very much and congratulations, coach.
Felicitaciones.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
All right, that concludes the end of game interviews, but we still have some more for you. We go back to Wayne Walker for him to take us through for a little bit longer.
So we're waiting on the medal presentation to the teams here tonight. Arnett, the beaten finalist, and they will go into the Concacaf League Championship set to go off in August along with Portmore. And well, not quite, because they have a game on Wednesday night against Francis Kane. And the presentation party has been put together at the moment while the players celebrate from Pantoja. And this is a good penalty from the goalkeeper Baez, beating his opposite number Damien Hyatt. And he's gone across to celebrate, and that was the crucial one that handed the trophy to Pantoja tonight. So they are champions of the Caribbean. Goalkeeper Baez runs away in celebration and mauled by his teammates, and they're celebrating with whatever they can put their hands on, water, the football boots, everything. And we're still waiting on the presentation ceremony. It's local time 10:21, and these Pantoja players will be leaving Jamaica very happy. We're looking there at the president of the Jamaica Football Federation, Mr. Michael Ricketts, amongst other Concacaf
south end of
authorities.
The stadium, of the field.
And Pantoja, in addition to the $50,000 that they'll be taking home tonight, they will also be going to the Concacaf Club Championship, and they will also
be the Fair Play Award.
Crowned Caribbean Club Champions, for which they'll put their hands on that brilliant trophy there.
On behalf of
so we're still waiting on the official presentation.
Denzel Theobald will receive.
So
that's the Fair Play Award.
Denzel Tibble gets the Fair Play Award.
For Mr.
So Denzel Tibble been given the Fair Play Award.
Central FC.
And he plays for Central FC.
Central FC. We now
so Central FC
with the Golden Glove Award.
The Golden Glove Award. And this will go to Baez.
To Maurice Vittori.
Well, it's actually Maurice Vittori.
Maurice Vittori.
Maurice Vittori, Odalis Baez.
The Golden Glove is awarded to Miguel Odalis from
Glove
Club
Award.
Atlético Pantoja.
And he represents Atlético Pantoja. That's his name on the back of his shirt.
Congratulations. Round of applause, please.
Congratulations for winning the Golden Glove. The top goalkeeper.
Now the flow, Concacaf Caribbean Championship, top scorer.
So the leading goal scorer now.
Receive the Golden Boot.
And that will go to Espinal.
None other than Luis Espinal.
So Luis Espinal,
Atlético Pantoja.
Golden Boot winner. He's from Atlético Pantoja as well.
Congratulations, sir.
collecting his award.
Round of applause for Mr.
So Luis Espinal had a good weekend here in Jamaica.
And now we have the moment where we present the award for the best player
And the
of
best
the
player
competition.
of the competition. Baez. Is he? Yes, he is. So he's gotten the Golden Glove, and he's also gotten the best player of the tournament. Congratulations, a double winner tonight. Indeed, a triple winner, because his club also won the title.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will continue with the presentation of the silver medals.
So the silver medals will be presented to Arnett Gardens.
Those medals will be handed to Arnett Gardens Football Club.
And they will be going across to collect their medals.
And they are led by the captain, Damien Hyatt.
Damien Hyatt will lead them in. Here he is. He's coming forward to collect the silver medal.
Arnett Gardens Football Club for finishing
Hyatt
as runners-up in the
finishing second in the tournament tonight.
Flow Concacaf Caribbean Club Championship.
Marvin Morgan, Fishnell Harris, Newton Stirling.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Well done, well played.
Oldham, Malcolm didn't get a chance to play. And they go down the line, the Arnett Gardens team. Stamar Jackson, Martin, and this is Nesbeth. Reniki Anderson, to be followed by Tamar Edwards. So one by one, the players are collecting their silver medals. Russell. This is Reed, who missed from the spot. Jabbar Johnson and Steve Clark is also a part of the team that will collect silver medals.
And
the rest of the management staff. At the back of the queue is their coach, Jerome Waite. And just in front of Waite is Eugene Williams, the assistant coach. There you have it. So the presentation of the silver medals. And that will be that for the silver medal winners. Now we're getting ready for the gold medal winners to collect the gold medals and also the championship trophy.
Congratulations to the players and the technical staff of Club Atlético Pantoja.
So one by one, they'll be going up just like Arnett Gardens did. And at the top of the queue is Jonathan Finea.
Concacaf Caribbean Club Championship. And they will now collect their
That's Finea. Rosado. Batista is next in line.
So they will get their gold medals.
He's followed there by Carlos Rosell, Quintero, Jonathan Lopez. So you go down the line. Chusios de Souza, that's Innocent. The champions are collecting their medals. That's Leonardo Silva. Pedro Munoz, Baez, and the captain of Bayo. Espinal was left out of it, and he too has joined the party to collect his medal. So they're celebrating, and they'll celebrate until tomorrow. Here they are. A handshake by the president of the JFF. And are they running out of medals? No, they are not, you bet.
And
well, partly they have. Why did I suspect that's going to happen? The party is too big. No, they've been called to collect the fruits of their labor. This is the trophy they all covet. And soon they'll get their hands on it.
You've been
They
waiting
can't
for.
wait. It's a symbol of Caribbean club football supremacy. And they are the champions. The captain has gone to the front.
The new Flow Concacaf Club Championship.
And he's set to put his hands on this panking trophy. And look at the reaction. Johnny Goulian is there with him.
Pantoja.
They're dancing up a storm.
Congratulations.
And they're celebrating all the way back into Santo Domingo. They lift the trophy aloft. They're champions of the Caribbean. They are Atlético Club Pantoja. And they are deserved winners. They beat Arnett Gardens on penalties tonight. And they're celebrating like crazy the Caribbean Club Championship trophy. They came to Jamaica, they saw, and they conquered. And they are the deserved champions, Atlético Club Pantoja.
Please.
And the confettis go up. And a glorious night in Jamaica for those who wear the colors of Atlético Club Pantoja. Brilliant, outstanding show. And they're all happy, I'm sure. Look at that. So we're going to put a wrap on a weekend of fantastic football. We're heading back to Orville Higgins.
Thanks for supporting the Flow.
All right, so all that's left for me to do now is to put a cap on things. The Atlético Pantoja team, they're celebrating not only $50,000 US richer, but they'll advance to the Scotiabank Champions League for the top teams in CONCACAF as we go from here. The second and third place team will go to the Scotiabank Champions League, which is a little bit lower league with the lesser teams in CONCACAF. And the fourth place team here, Portmore, will be facing off against Club Franciscaine from Martinique this Wednesday for the right to also go to that Scotiabank Champions League. It's all happening behind me. The team from the Dominican Republic certainly played well, and they deserve to be champions here. All that's left for me then is to put a wrap on things. Thanks to Wayne Walker, my co-commentator. Thanks to Branson Juice and the rest of the production team. Thanks to all of you for watching on Flow Sports 1, and continue to stay tuned. Orville Higgins then returning you to the final time to Master Control.